and welcome to the Destination Knit podcast. I am Summer, and you can find me as Destination Knit on Instagram or Ravelry. This is my first ever podcast, as you can tell, and so I went back and forth a lot on whether I should be doing this or not, and what I would be bringing to the knitting community and what I would be getting out of it myself. And I sort of realized that we're in a really weird time right now where everyone's at home and not really doing much, and I thought that, I might as well do this because I have nothing else to do right now, and if it's bringing me a little bit of joy, then maybe it'll bring someone else some kind of joy, so hopefully this will be entertaining for you, and if not, I'm really sorry. So I'm just gonna I don't know, I hope it'll be motivating to me to work on my knitting and to get things done and to do, I guess, more challenging projects or more exciting projects so I have something to share that's not just a vanilla sock every week, and yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's start with some finished objects. So my first finished object that I want to share, and to be fair, I'm sharing finished objects for the past week or two. I'm not from the past 15 years that I've been knitting, So, I have airport socks, which is, they were sitting in a weird position, so they look like this. Really cute, toe up with an afterthought heel, and there are two of them. And this is my pattern, and it can be found on Ravelry as airport socks. It's a free pattern, and it's just, if you want to dip your toe into toe up knitting or into afterthought heels, then that would be a good pattern for you to try out. And I made it free because I wanted it to be accessible to people, and especially in this time right now, there's not a lot of money flowing around, so I hope it's enjoyable. I hope everything's correct in it. I didn't have it tested or anything, so let me know if there's issues with it. I don't know what the yarn is. This is Life in the Long Grass yarn, but I couldn't find the colorway. I threw away the tag a year ago, and I don't remember what the colorway is, but I don't think she's dyeing it anymore because I did look on their website and I couldn't find it, so I'm not sure it's being dyed. But they have tons of other pretty colors, so you should go check them out. And then my next finished object is monsters. So I have this book called The Big Book of Knitted Monsters. You can see them all here. And I've just been having a lot of fun knitting all these little mischievous and lovable creatures, or toys. Creatures would have been better there, but whatever. So I've been having a good time knitting them because I have tons and tons of scrap yarn, as we all do, or yarn where you bought a ball of it, but what do you do with 50 grams of sock yarn? So I guess I'll show you some of them. This one I finished yesterday. This little guy. And then this one is my favorite, I think. And then my last, that is a book by Rebecca Danger, and you can get the book at a knitting store or online, probably on Amazon, but all of her patterns are on Ravelry. If you go search through her stuff, or I have them linked on my project page, so if you see one that you really like and you just want to make one monster or two, then you don't really have to buy the whole book. But they're really cute, and that'd be a fun gift too, if you have a little kid in your life or a baby shower or something like that. So my next finished object is the Cruiser Cardigan. I did it as a test knit. It has these really weird bat wing kind of sleeves. I'll put it on for you so you can see what it looks like on. And then I made mine a little bit longer than the pattern called for. And then you can see the sleeves on. I really like it because it's not, it looks a little bunchy when they're down, but I like that better than them being super tight, and that claustrophobic feeling. So it's made to be knit with fingering weight plus mohair, or you can do it out of, what's it called? A sport weight, DK weight kind of thicker yarn. And that's what I chose to do because I've never knit with mohair before, and I'm not sure if I would like it or not, so I didn't want to try on this. And like, since it was a test knit, I didn't want to mess up on like something that I didn't know rather than like her pattern, you know what I'm saying? So the way that the pattern's knit is that you knit each of like this like strip to about here on both sides, and then you pick, like, you don't bind off or anything like that, you just leave the stitches, and then you like knit it all together from like the side to the back to the side, and then you decrease in the corners all the way down. I thought it was a really easy knit. It's garter stitched the whole way, so you don't have to worry about any purling. I guess there is purling. There's ribbing, but it's a really quick knit. I finished it in a couple weeks. I guess the details are on my Ravelry page if you want to know exactly how long it took me. But I did go on a trip for a week within the time that it took me to knit this. So yeah, I did Cascade Superwash 220 Sport. So what I used, this was a multicolor, and then this was a solid. So I don't remember the numbers. They're like, I wish everything was named a fun color, because I think that would be easier to remember. But I think this was 118 or 113, something like that. And I don't remember what this was, but I think it added something nice to it when I did the all the cuffs in a lighter gray. Not a lighter gray. I mean, it's the same color that's in there, but I think it added something over doing it in like the dark gray or the pink or something like that. So that's that. And I did it as a test knit, but the pattern should be out now. I think she said she was going to try to release it at like the 1st of April. So if it's not out, I guess it's only April 2nd. So if it's not out right now, it should be out within the next like week or so. All right. Now on to works in progress. So I guess my biggest work in progress would be my Ripple crop sweater. Let's see if I can get this situated. So this is what it looks like. I have separated for the front and like knit the 2 fronts, and then I'm working on the back right now. So you can see the back part that I'm working on. And then I'll have to finish the back and then knit 2 sleeves. It looks really tiny, but it's very, very stretchy. Don't worry, I'm not this small. So the yarn I'm using is working out really nicely. I usually don't knit anything that's this bright, like for me to wear, but I think it'll be like a fun summery color, like wear it in the spring and summer, and I think it'll be a little brighter than what I normally wear, but I think it'll still be really pretty. So I do really enjoy it, and I enjoy working with it. The exact yarn that I'm using and everything is on my Ravelry page. I don't have the tag with me, so I don't remember right now. And then the next work in progress has not gotten a lot of work, so I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. This is the Solstice sweater. It's by Mary Christine Levesque, and this is what it's going to look like when it grows up. And I'm currently working on this section, but the back part, I'm pretty sure. And it looks like this. See, I told you it was small. You can tell I'm not working on it because I took the needles off and it's on stoppers right now. But this will be this part. It's got drop sleeves. I'm hoping it's not too big, but I guess it'll just be kind of like oversized and comfy if I make it too big. But this is the brioche. Let's see if I can show you a little bit better. And then this is the back side if you want to see that contrasting color a little clearer. Yeah, that's showing. Okay. So the dark blue that I'm using is a Cascade Superwash Heritage. That's what it's called. And then I don't remember the other color, but you can find it on my Ravelry page. Or if you ask, I'd be nice enough to tell you. But I don't have the tag on me. And I haven't been giving it a lot of work because I like brioche and I love the way it works up. I love how squishy it is, but it takes forever, okay? It takes so long to see any progress because you have to knit every row twice, and it just feels like and that's a long row, okay? It's a lot of stitches, all right, and fingering weight yarn to knit them all twice, you know? And I like projects where you see results a little bit faster, which is why, like, on the Ripple crop, where you're just, like, knitting and purling and working that rib for 8 inches, it's like you can just like go and go and go and you don't have to pay attention, and it's just like you can see so much progress so much faster. And like when the brioche, you really have to pay attention, and like if you make a mistake, you know, so I'll work on that. My goals for April, in case you're wondering, is to get the ripple crop finished and then to have 50% done of the solstice sweater. So, and by that I don't mean like I'm calculating it pretty loosely. So what I want is both of the brioche sections done, because I'm pretty sure, if I'm reading it correctly, you're knitting like you knit the back brioche and then the shoulder and then the front brioche and then you knit in the round. And so I want to get to the point where you're just knitting in the round is my goal, because I know that includes like knitting in the round and then the sleeves, and that's probably not quite half, but the brioche just takes so long. So time wise, I think that's more than half, because I can knit in the round stockinette pretty quickly. So that's my goal. Yeah. And then I signed up for the Curious Handmade Secret Socks Society, Handmade Sock Society, the third one that she's doing. And I did my socks for the last month. I won't show them to you because they're in the dirty hamper. And I really like them. I think I knitted them a little bit too big, but I also haven't actually washed them yet. I like hand washed them because the color was bleeding really badly. They were a hand dyed yarn, and they were dyeing my fingers as I was knitting them, which wasn't a good sign. And then I wore them once and my feet were completely blue. And so I was hand washing them a lot with vinegar to try to like set the color a little bit, and I think it did, because I wore them the other night, and I wore them like around the house, and I wore them to bed, and my feet were not blue, so it's an improvement. And so I think I'm gonna wash them in the wash machine and see if they'll like felt up just a tad. I did wash some socks the other day, and they completely felted up, and they will no longer go on my toes. So we'll see how this goes for me. But I do have, March's socks to knit. They're Ambiance, I think, and I just like haven't got started on them. I haven't been in a really socky mood. I've knitted a lot of socks recently, and I'm just like, I want to work on something else. So I think that's why the monsters have been so entertaining for me, is because there's a little bit more going on, if that makes sense. Which I guess if you knit a sock with pattern, which is what all of the Handmade Sock Society patterns are, they all have a good pattern to them. So you really have to you don't have to pay attention so much if you're good at like seeing patterns and everything. But I don't know, the monsters have been like in between mindless and like needing to work on something, so those have been entertaining. I like knitting little stuffies like that. Like I went through a phase when I only knitted animals, so I don't know, we'll see. I'm ready to get my ripple crop done because I think it's gonna finally warm up and I can wear it more. It was really warm here. I'm in North Carolina right now, and it was 80 degrees, 85 this week, and then it rained. It poured down rain the night before last, and then it was 40 degrees yesterday. So that's why I did not go outside yesterday. It was too cold. But I guess I could have put on some hand knits and then been fine. But alright, my last work in progress is a crochet corner to corner blanket. I'm knitting it out of all scrap yarn, and hold on, let me try not to lose any stitches while I show you this. Try not to go backwards. Alright, I think it'd be best to show you standing up. So this is what it looks like. Alright, this is one edge of it. And this is the other side. I mean, it looks the same because it's not very big right now. But I'm just knitting or crocheting all kinds of little scrappy threads into it. You can see there are a lot of colors that repeat because I had lots of leftovers of it. But you know when you are working on a sock, and I have really small feet, so I always have a chunk left over. So I've been trying to knit crochet all those into this, because otherwise they just sit in the stash and are forever in a drawer somewhere. So I've been watching the Crazy Sock Ladies podcast. Very good, would recommend. And she always has scrappy projects on the needles or on the hook, and so I thought that would be a good project for me. I tried to work on the beekeeper's quilt, and I love the design. I think it's really cool, but I knitted about probably 100 of those little hexapuffs, and when I sewed them together the way that the pattern says, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I did not like that at all, and I just like realized that there was no way I was going to be able to knit that. So, and it also takes forever. Like, it only takes about half an hour to knit a hexapuff. Half an hour to an hour, depending on how quick of a knitter you are. But like, if I was like really going on it, and like I had knit a lot recently and was like good on the pattern and like knew what I was doing, it only took me about half an hour. So I could knit, you know, 1 or 2 at night when I was watching TV. But still, it took me a couple years to get to 100, because I was more motivated to work on something else than I was to work on that. And then I didn't like the color combinations. It was just too wild for me. Like, I think this is like really wild for me. I don't, as you can tell by my room, white, a lot of neutrals and grays, and like not a lot happening. And I wear a lot of blues and grays and like maroon and like neutral, kind of warm, calm colors. And for some reason this doesn't bother me when it's like stripy and scrappy, and like that's just the way it's supposed to look. But like the beekeeper's quilt, I thought needed to have more of a pattern or something, so I didn't like it. I love other people's, and I've seen other people's finished objects or like on Ravelry, not in person, but I love them and they look really cool. And so I would recommend the pattern if that's not going to bother you, or if like you have a plan for it, like you bought yarn so that would make a gradient or something like that. But you need a lot of patience and to not be so worried about color is my advice for that. I should say that my scrappy project is knit on an F crochet hook. I don't know what the UK European size is for that, because this one just says F USA. So I wanted it to be like a fairly tight gauge. I don't like it when blankets have holes in them. Excuse me. So that's my issue with most crochet blankets, but this one is like, you can see that this is pretty tight. So, and I like the memories attached to it, you know, that I can like point to it and be like, oh, that's a sock that I made, or I did the Starflake Mystery Knit Along by Stephen West, and so that yarn's in there, and socks that I made for friends, or for my boyfriend, or for, you know, my dad and my oppa for Christmas, those are in there. And so like it's good to have those like little memories in there, you know, like, oh, you know, this person has the rest of this yarn. It's really cute. So I do like that. And this is what my big ball looks like. This is the one that I'm about to attach that I wound up last night. And I used the Crazy Sock Ladies tutorial to do this. She has a tutorial for how to make the magic knot balls, so you don't have to sew in 1,002 ends when you're done with this. So you can see it's like the blue's one ball of yarn, and then the pink's a ball of yarn, and there's some gray that's another ball of yarn. And instead of just like winding them up and then like having to attach them later, you do this kind of knot trick so that they're all combined when you wind them into the ball, and then you can just attach it to your project and like keep knitting and knitting, or crocheting and crocheting and crocheting, and then, you know, make another ball when you have more scraps. So that's been really helpful. And that's all I have in terms of knitting and crochet content, but if you want to stick around for a little bit of chatter, I don't have very much. Everyone's stuck inside right now, so I don't really have anything entertaining to tell you in terms of like the chatter part. Nothing's really been going on in my life. I'm sure many of you can relate to that. So I figured what I would do, sorry, I feel like I have something in my throat. But what I figured I would do for like this section is to give you some recommendations, because I figured that was a little bit more exciting than being like, well, I'm stuck inside and I've been watching a lot of Netflix. So my recommendations to you are to get outside, which is something I'm telling myself, not just you, but I feel a lot better when I like go outside. even if it's not for very long, but like going on a walk and getting that like little bit of exercise, or just like sitting in some sunshine and, you know, reading a book or doing some knitting or whatever is really, really relaxing and makes me feel so much better than if I'm just sitting inside all day. So would recommend that to you, especially if you have a bunch of people in your house. It's probably nice to like get a minute to yourself and like have something else to do. And then my other recommendation is The Silent Patient. I'm listening to it on Audible, but I mean there's a paper copy too if you want to read it. And it's a psychological thriller, and I think that it's very interesting because most psychological thrillers tend to get a little boring and like, I don't want to like sound mean about it, but like a lot of times you can like tell exactly what's going to happen, and like you're just kind of like, all right, like get to the point, or like I don't even finish them. And this one like is actually really interesting to me, and I'm listening to it on Audible, and as I've been listening to it, I think that I would have a hard time reading it because it's just kind of, there are points when there's like a lot of detail and there doesn't need to be, and so I like that someone's telling me about it and I don't have to like keep reading it. But if you're not into audiobooks, then you should definitely get a paper copy of it because I think it's very interesting, or a digital copy if you have a Kindle or something like that. And then my last recommendation is the croissants at Lidl. I don't know if you have a Lidl near you, but they have a bakery section, and their stuff is very good, and I love a croissant, and I would highly recommend theirs. I know that it's like hard to go to the grocery store right now, but when I went the other day, I went on Monday, and there was no one there. There were like 2 other people there, and everything was very well sanitized, and everyone was keeping their distance. And so I would say that if you have a chance, or if you need to go to the grocery store, I would say don't leave your house unless you like absolutely have to. But if like you have to, then I would probably make Lidl it, and then grab you a croissant because they're 59 cents and they're really good. So yeah, that's all that I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did not, please be nice about it. And I hope you tune in maybe next week. I think I would like make this a weekly thing. I think it'll be like motivating to like get knitting projects done and to like have progress to see on it. I won't show my like scrappy crocheted corner to corner blanket every week because I mean it's gonna look the exact same until like I actually have something substantial to show. So I'll probably show it maybe like once a month or something like that. But everything else I'll try to show and like keep you guys updated. I might, if people are interested in it, I might add a group on Ravelry or something like that. So let me know if you like this. Let me know if there's something else you'd rather see, or if you think I should keep doing this. Alright, so I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks!